The letter must not be opened until the year 2085. No one, not even the Governor-General of Australia or her successors, is allowed to read it until then. Not a single word of its contents has been revealed. No copy exists. It's said to begin with the words, "On a suitable day chosen by you in the year 2085. Would you please open this envelope and convey to the citizens of Sydney my message to them?" But what lies inside? A final personal message, a warning, a confession, a farewell to a future generation? No one knows, and perhaps never will in our lifetime. But even after 96 years, after ruling longer than any monarch before her, Queen Elizabeth II still held one final secret, a handwritten letter locked away in a building thousands of miles from home, to be opened long after we're all gone. What did she write? A message of hope? A final goodbye? Or something no one expected? Only time will tell, because even queens leave behind mysteries. No throne, no crown, no grand speeches, just an old woman in a quiet room, slipping away. The world mourned. Flags flew at half-mast, bells rang across nations. But what did she leave behind? A reign that spanned 7 decades, 15 prime ministers, wars, pandemics, revolutions, and royal crises. But above all, she left behind silence, because through it all, Elizabeth never complained. She never ran. She never broke down in front of the world. She simply endured. She was not perfect. She was not warm, but she was constant, unshakable, human, a queen who carried the weight of the crown and the world for 70 years, and in the end, she died as she lived, with dignity, with grace, and alone. She was born a princess, but she longed for a normal life. It was April 21st, 1926. In a quiet London home, a baby girl opened her eyes to a world that had no idea she would someday rule it for over 70 years. Her name was Elizabeth Alexandra Mary. At just 10 years old, her destiny changed. Her uncle, King Edward VIII, gave up the throne, not for war or power, but for love. And with that decision, her shy father became King George VI, and little Elizabeth became heir to the crown. She grew up with her younger sister, Margaret. They were close, giggling behind palace doors, whispering secrets at bedtime. But even as a child, Elizabeth carried the weight of the future. Margaret was lively and mischievous. Elizabeth, quiet, composed, always thinking ahead. Then came war. As World War II tore through Europe, Elizabeth trained as a mechanic, drove military trucks, and served the army, not just as a princess, but as a symbol. She didn't want to just wear the crown, she wanted to earn it. And then came Philip, a dashing Greek prince. She met him at 13. She never looked back. In 1947, they married. For the world, it was a royal fairy tale. For Elizabeth, it was love, real, honest love. But being a queen's husband is a strange thing. He walked beside her, never in front. And she walked alone, in duty, in silence. 1952. Her father died unexpectedly. Elizabeth, just 25, became Queen of the United Kingdom, a wife, a mother, and now ruler of millions. She had 4 children, but the crown always came first. But behind that love was tension. Philip was a proud man, a naval officer, used to freedom, to purpose. But when Elizabeth became queen, everything changed. Suddenly, he was second. Always. His name was not passed down. His role was unclear. And in private, he struggled. There were whispers, rumors of distance, of him feeling lost. Some said he wandered. She knew. She felt it. But she never let it show. Because her duty wasn't to herself, or even to him. It was to the crown. And then came Diana, the young, glowing bride of her eldest son, Charles. Diana was everything the people adored, warm, relatable, heart on her sleeve. But behind palace walls, Diana struggled, and Elizabeth didn't know how to reach her. They were two women from different worlds, one bound by tradition, the other begging for emotion. Diana wanted love.
Well, there were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
Elizabeth offered duty.
And members of the House of Commons, other measures will be laid before you. I pray that the blessing of Almighty God.
As Diana's marriage fell apart, the press exploded. Then came the divorce. Then the crash. August 31st, 1997. Diana died. The world cried, and the Queen stayed silent. For days she said nothing, showed nothing, and people turned against her. But what they didn't see was a grandmother, a mother-in-law, a monarch, grieving in silence, not out of coldness, but because that's all she had ever known. Then came scandal after scandal, Harry and Meghan, the Oprah interview, the tension between brothers, the palace breaking from within. Yet, through it all, Queen Elizabeth stood, firm still, a lighthouse in the storm. But the storm had taken its toll. She had buried her sister, her husband of 73 years. Something in her broke. For all their tensions, he was her rock. The only man who knew the weight she carried. The only one who could call her Lilibet, her childhood name. And when that voice was gone, so was her anchor. And now, her strength was fading. September 8th, 2022. At her favorite Scottish retreat, Balmoral Castle, she breathed her last.